reflection season, we have been gifted by a few people. You can come on up, Allie, who have shared pieces of their own stories and what it has meant to them, what it means to them to trust their belovedness. And this morning, we just welcome Allie and your story. Thank you so much.
Oh, wow. The room filled up. Let me untangle this. There we go. Okay, this might be a little hard for me to do, so please be patient if you would. My story is, I want to be sure to thank each of you and God for answered prayers. It's most important for me to realize that I can trust my belovedness. One of the most beautiful things I ever heard was, I am a beloved child of God. That was one of the reasons I joined this church, and I have never heard that spoken that way, like that, ever before. And that's also, I want to tell you how this led to the most wonderful miracle I've ever experienced personally. Let me tell you my story that can prove that I can trust in my belovedness, and hopefully you will trust even more in yours. I'm going to run this in sort of a little timeline that covers a year, just a year. And I want to start with a couple of weeks or so before January 25th, 2023. So this is the time frame I'm starting with. And to begin, right about that time, Tundiway gave a sermon of the prodigal daughter. Do you remember that sermon, the prodigal daughter? No? Okay. Well, I'm going to talk about that. Never had I heard that spoken that way either before. So after this sermon, I went home and I pondered on that and I prayed on that subject because I have a prodigal daughter, Dana. She's been estranged from my small family for about 30 years, and what would I do if suddenly she came home? What indeed? Then that very week she called me, and she wanted me and her brother to meet her on January 25th, 2023, because that was her birthday, and she wanted us to join her for dinner at Fuzzy's. Does anybody remember Fuzzy's at that at all? There's a few, yeah. So what I did was the very next Sunday I came here to church, and with the joys and concerns, I asked all of you to pray for our coming meeting for that. And I told you her brother and I, my full small family, we're scared, excited, hesitant, happy, fearful, thankful, frightened, grateful, and willing. So could you put up the first slide, please? We went. And that is, well, that's me and Scott and Dana at Fuzzy's. It was just absolutely glorious to get to see her. I now, at this point in time, after 30 years of estrangement, really believe that I was a beloved child of God because he answered my prayers. And I know that he answered yours too, because for 30 years, I had prayed for this day, but it didn't happen until you all, this community, prayed for it too. Moving on, my family celebrated almost 1 beautiful year, almost, of answered prayers. I talked to Dana by phone at least every day, helped her move to Wisconsin to be near her daughter and grandchildren, and many times We talked multiple times per day. We talked a lot. The second slide, please. This is my Dana. Dana found a church home after she moved to Wisconsin. Oops, hang on. She was out walking her dogs and came upon another dog walker. And so they said hello, and then in a few days they crossed paths again, and they kind of struck up a conversation and a friendship. He told me later that he was so impressed with her because she was just exuded joy and love and friendliness. And so he asked her if she had a church home. He told me he had never asked anybody that, and he's about my age. She told him she didn't, but she wanted one because she had just moved here. And she wanted to share with a congregation and like-minded people in worshiping God. So they went. And they went to church together, and they went on Tuesday group together, and they went on outings together, and one of them was a meal that the Tuesday group shared, and another was a movie, which she said she slept through. And I guess it was boring, I don't know what it was. And she had her own care partner that they assigned, and she changed very much in that year's time. And so did I. I told her how proud I was of her and that she was a beloved child of God. How did that feel to tell her that? Well, I'd spent a lifetime telling her stories, Bible stories and prayers, and we did confirmation lessons together and taking her to church and Sunday school and camp. And I told her who she was for me, that she was my daughter, that she was Scott's sister, how I expected her to behave, that I wanted her to be kind and to be nice and to be friendly. But I never had told her who she was, that she was a beloved child of God. Telling her this freed us both. We could suddenly share. We could talk about anything under the sun, and we certainly did. But nothing we could say would hurt the other person. Nothing was repulsive or meaningless or trivial. It was so joyful. As children of God together, we toughed it out, and we resulted in our shared joy. As Dana became more grounded in her new church, just let me see if I've missed a slide. Hang on. Nope, we're good, I think. As she became more grounded in her new church, she called me beloved child of God. And how does it feel to hear that? There really aren't quite words. It felt divine. It was about like whatever number eternity times Almighty is. It's just indescribable. And I hope that all of you can hear that, or already have. We laughed, we cried, we grew and learned, and we glorified and thanked our beloved God together. Dana was the first to utter that phrase that I ever heard, our beloved God. I was never happier in my whole life, and then after talking on the phone with her 3 times that day, on December 22nd, she died. Everything in all of creation just became incomprehensible to me, and the only thing I wanted was to come here for the Christmas Eve candlelight service. And with the help of several people, I made it. I wanted to be with this congregation. I wanted you to know that my prayers were answered. I wanted to just join with you people in that moment. I saw lights that shined, and hugs, touches, tears. I heard sleep in heavenly peace, and I sang sleep in heavenly peace. And I found peace. Thank you. Oh, I'm not done yet. There's more. But thank you anyway. Go ahead. So that was Christmas Eve. And on December 26, 2023, the day after Christmas, I received the greatest miracle I have ever had, my real, tangible miracle gift from God. The answer to all of our prayers, a Christmas card from my beloved daughter, Dana. And I want to share that with you. If you could do the next slide. Is that important? Not to me, it is. So it started off, Merry Christmas, Mom. I love you so much. I am so blessed that you're my mommy. She thanked me for a knee scooter, which is something I had shipped for her durable medical equipment for her surgery she had. And then the red up here is just the little printout on the card, you know, the printed little seasonal, impersonal greeting. And then she said, I just wanted to say, thanks for giving me a chance to repair our relationship. And I'm proud to call you my mom. Love, Dana Marie. We can do the next slide now. Here we are. So on January 25th, 2024, Dana's birthday again, Scott and I brought our beloved child, sister, home to the Rocky Mountains. And I've mentioned this several times before, and that is I grew up in these mountains, and my children grew up in these mountains. And I know cathedrals up there, which are private and beautiful, and it's where I meet God and talk to him often. And this is one of them. And we went up there and we set Dana free. And that's my story. God is real and powerful, and prayer is real and powerful. And God answers prayer. As one beloved child of God, I want every single one of you, beloved children of God, to know that he listens and he answers. You can trust that now and forever. We, all of us, are beloved children of our beloved God. And you can trust in that now and forever. And thank you for those prayers. It's yours.